Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mid-Year Mastery Review. I'm Stephanie Grutz, and the reason why I'm doing this is a few weeks ago, I met with a dear friend and some colleagues, and we went over something similar, and I really took away a lot of good pieces of just in 2023, there's so much that we've done and like just taking inventory and celebrating what we have won, and then going into the end of the year and like looking forward to what goals we want to accomplish by the end of the year and how can we make that happen. And sometimes it feels overwhelming, so I feel like it's good just to meet up mid year and then just kind of refocus our goals. So today I have a timeline. I have minute markers by them to just kind of keep us on task, but we're going to let it kind of free flow with whatever you two need. Um, I am recording this because a lot of people wanted the recording so they can do this on their own. It doesn't have to be done live. I do like the interaction though of live and participating. Before we get started, I would like to do a grounding meditation. So if you want, just get comfy and settled, find a quiet and comfortable place, and relax your eyes. Close them if you want. Take a deep breath in, allowing your body to relax. As you exhale, release any tension or stress you may be holding on to. Take a moment to reflect on the things you're grateful for in your life. Bring to mind 3 things you appreciate and feel thankful for. It could be something as simple as a warm smile from a loved one or the beauty and nature around you. Allow the feeling of gratitude to fill your heart. Shift your attention inward and begin to take inventory of your body and mind. Start from the top of your head and slowly move down, observing any sensations or areas of tension. Notice how each part of your body feels, without judgment or the need to change anything. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions as well, simply observing them without getting caught up in them. Take another deep breath. Now shift your focus to grounding yourself in the present moment. Feel the weight of your body on the surface you're sitting and standing on. Imagine roots extending from the soles of your feet, reaching to the depths of the earth, anchoring you and providing stability. With each breath, imagine drawing up the nourishing energy of the earth into your body, feeling grounded and supported. Take one final deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly open your eyes. Take a moment to appreciate the stillness and peace you have cultivated within yourself. Carry this sense of gratitude and grounding as you continue your day. Thank you for doing that with me.
Thank you.
You can always do that. It's like I have to remind myself we can always do that every day, every moment, whenever we feel like we need to just collect ourselves. Okay, so I'd like to start off with doing some introductions. I know you two know each other, but just to kind of go over name, where you're from, and the business profession that you're in, and maybe one of the things you were grateful for today.
Do you want to start, Cassie? You want me
Sure.
to start?
Sure, I'll start.
Okay.
Okay, I am Cassie. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I am the owner of a small coffee shop. I am grateful for not only my family, but the ability to be here on this meeting today, while I have, other people kind of managing and running the coffee shop right now.
Christy?
I'm Christy Norman, and I have 2 businesses. One is virtual assistant and social media services, and the other is in-person body work and healing. And I am really grateful this morning to have the windows open for the first time in many days. I just feel this breeze coming through as we were doing the meditation, and it felt so nice. So yeah, thanks.
Yes, it's been warm. I'm Stephanie Grutz. Like I mentioned, I'm from Iowa. I am a nurse practitioner. I own a few businesses. We're currently opening the Health Spa by Vibe in our local community. We have a supplement line, and I'm most grateful for today just feeling well, feeling energized, and not taking that for granted. Just the little things in life. So. Yeah, okay. Let's get down to it. Um, First, I would like you guys just to take a couple minutes. You signed up for this. Um, I'd like you to just write down a couple things, like, or just think about them. What are a couple things you'd like to take away by the end of this? What are you hoping to have accomplished? Just give you a minute to do this. I am going to try to like keep my timer on so that I stay on pace too. Um, the
Mhm.
the things that I wrote down were just kind of focusing on the rest of the year, gaining clarity around structures of specific business aspects, and then cleaning up my calendar content, like just to work towards a more organized life. So, three simple things, right?
Mhm.
Do you guys have anything else that came up for you?
My big thing is clarity as well. Getting clear on my second half of 2023, um, in terms of like focus and direction, namely in a couple of different areas. But I need to decide on the number of clients that I can take on in the second half of the year. And also, a more longer term goal is to set up an agency. So like, what can I put in place now to get that ball rolling? Even though I just launched last August. And then also, I'm consistently not finding time for the back end of my own business stuff. So carving out time and getting organized with that as well.
Okay, that's great. Cassie, anything that you have pressing?
I'm still in the growth mindset, so just finding different ways that I can grow this year while also, like Christy, organizing the back end. Yeah, finding ways to, complete some of these goals before year end, definitely.
Okay. Well, let's see what we can get into. So this section that we're going to do next is really going to be a reflection section of the past 6 months, 7 months, and I'll put the questions in the chat and we'll do 10 minutes of journaling and I'll check in, and if we need more time, I'll give it. But one, if the first half of 2023 had a title, what would it be? What was your biggest accomplishment? What was your biggest learning moment? Some people say failure, but I don't like failures. So, what was that biggest thing you learned? Most important lesson you learned? Your biggest revenue driver? The most easiest thing to do in the first half? And what was the most difficult? And if you're having trouble coming up with something, just shout it out to me and I'll give you some examples. But I just threw them in the chat as well. Okay, I'm going to give 5 more minutes. I'll give you another minute to just kind of wrap up your thoughts. Right. Hope that was some good reflection. Cass, I know that you have a baby at home that needs feeding and all of that. So be on as much as you need and break as much as you need. Okay, do you guys want to go through what your first half was, your themes, your accomplishments, failures? I'll go last if that's good. And yeah, I'd just like to hear what your wins and lessons were.
Let me go first.
Okay.
Okay. I couldn't come up with a title for the last half, but I will say that my biggest accomplishment was getting into some pretty big markets this past couple months. And then my learning moments would be from those markets, learning, what is worth my time and what is not worth my time, right? So I kind of figured out how to gauge, the time of day to be there. If there was other, competing vendors, I guess, and to be asking those questions when I'm signing up for these events. I've realized I need to be more organized, not only in my day-to-day life, but also for events, because, it's not easy once you get there to be able to leave and get the stuff that you forgot. So I'm working on finding a system to be more organized in those situations. I am working on always being open for opportunity, being more or trying to find different ways to bring business to the shop, whether it be talking to people at the markets or meeting my neighbors by the coffee shop, and getting them to send people my way. And then the difficulties I've had is just the hiring process. Right now, it's a little difficult finding employees. Sorry, you might be hearing Celia in the background. She's ready for more breakfast. But not only just hiring the right fit for the job. Right now we have a great crew, so hopefully we will, be able to continue with the same people into 2024. But that's usually the most difficult part of my job, and the most stressful part is the whole hiring process.
He says amen to that.
I'm gonna go get her more watermelon.
Christy, what did you have?
Yeah, so I just really tried to let these answers come without too much overthinking. And the title for the first half of the year that came through was New Focus. And in terms of biggest accomplishments, the organizing of my business came through as being one of the biggest accomplishments, because that's something that I think, struggled with in the past, has been organization, and just like knowing where the moving parts are and what they're doing, and getting a schedule that works with all of the different things that I'm doing. So it feels like organization has been a huge accomplishment. And then also bringing in new clientele as well. The biggest learning moments, a couple things came up. One is that it can be really challenging to let go of what was, even though it's something that isn't working anymore, or that you need to let go of it. But as soon as you do, then new ideas come through, new opportunities come through, new income comes through from different places. And so it's one of those like take the leap kind of messages, And so that's been a learning moment a few different times this year. And then also in addition to that, I feel like I've been testing new offerings. One, for example, is like offering a VIP day to people who don't want to work ongoing, but need some stuff done like in the moment. And so like testing those new things and all of these new tasks that I'm doing are all huge learning moments this year. Yeah, to find out if I like doing that service, how it's going to work, what it's going to look like, that kind of thing. Most important lesson I feel like I've learned and am learning is that some decisions do require reflection and time before a decision can be made, and other decisions require a leap of faith and like quick movement and kind of parsing out which is which.
Yeah.
Biggest revenue drivers, I need to like focus on that one a little bit more because I'm not exactly sure how to answer it just yet. So I'm going to skip that one. The easiest thing for me to do, I found in the first half of the year, was the work that I'm hired for. So when people are hiring me to do different VA tasks or social media tasks, like I'm finding that there's definitely a learning curve with those kinds of things, but that's been the most enjoyable and easiest task to accomplish. And then on the flip side of that, the most difficult has been finding time to promote myself and to bring more offerings to the table because I'm busy with the stuff that I'm doing for other people.
Sure. Makes sense. That's really good reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because you mentioned the revenue driver. Cassie, I didn't hear your biggest revenue driver. Did you mention that?
I don't think I did. But my biggest revenue driver would be my day-to-day operations, the coffee shop itself. So I'm working on finding ways to bring more people to the coffee shop to bring in more revenue.
Got it. Yeah, I think that that's a really important. It's like, okay, where is our money coming from? And Christy, I get where you're, where it's like, oh, I have it from different areas and things are new, so I totally get it. But it's always good to go back to that because most of the time, 20% of what we do is bringing in 80% of our income, right? Like, so we have a broad spectrum, but there is that one core focus that is bringing in most of our income and revenue. And it's like, okay, do we keep cultivating that?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because I filled these questions out a couple weeks ago, and my title of my first half was completing the S, like have like the figure 8 in my mind, and like I feel like I have it halfway done. And this year it was all about like finishing that 8. Um, my biggest accomplishment that I wrote a couple weeks ago was independently hiring and staffing a full-time nurse in Cedar Rapids, an hour away, our offsite nurse. And my biggest challenge was hiring and staffing, just like you, Cassie. And the interesting thing was between the time I wrote this and now, that nurse actually wants to decrease her hours. And so it's like, okay, that was my biggest accomplishment. So I thought, and it's still there. Like there's still things that are in the works, but it's just always, it just makes sense. And going down to like, okay, what's your biggest failure or learning moment? And it's continuing to pivot and being flexible to the pivot. So when something happens, like your biggest accomplishment isn't as great as what you thought, like how can you pivot that to make it work? Do you have to find someone else? What do you have to do? And so that is, I think, my biggest learning moment. And my biggest lesson learned was don't look at the final outcome. There's a lot of, it's really easy to see like where you want to be. Like Christy, you said like you want to have this agency, and like it's really easy to look at that. Then it's like, okay, I'm going to shut down and not do anything because that's like overwhelming. But just looking at like what's the next best step that I can do that doesn't overwhelm me. And that's been really helpful as we build this 6,000 square foot clinic, it's like, oh, do I have to fill it all on day one? Or it's like, no, just put in there what you already know and then slowly get more things rolling. Um, and yeah, I think the easiest thing for me of the first half was that there is a lot of things happening and I'm not really, noticing that, the clinic's going up and that stuff's not weighing on my time or body. So, it's a
Mhm.
lot. It's a lot for all of us. And I think it's really good to look at that too, because, we have done a lot in the past 7 months that we don't really take credit for. So yeah, let's get us going into the next half of this year. Um, Okay, the next couple minutes, I want to do values because I think having values really sets us apart of like what drives our goals. So just take a couple minutes and write down 10 values that you want to hold high in your life. It can be something like joy, simplicity, family, health, those type of things. Just write down 10 of them. Okay, let me know when you're done with that.
I think I'm done.
Cassie, you're done.
Yes, I am done.
Okay, so next to this, or you can put it below it, like what do you have to feel in order to have that value met? So like, let's say you chose joy. So I know with joy, that's the value I'm choosing. I could have decreased stress and decreased tension. So when some job or responsibility is handed to me, do I feel stress, tension, anguish? Then I know that that's a clear indicator that I'm not finding that top value is not being met. So that's something that I wouldn't take on. Simplicity is another thing. So it's like that actions indicator could be um, ease of decisions. So if someone is coming to me like I have to make a decision on something and it's not simple or easy, then I'm going to pass on it for now and maybe come back to it at a later time. But if it's not simple, I'm not going to put that in my goal or my plan. So if that makes sense, just next to the value, put what you need to feel in order to create that space. You have like 3 to 5 minutes on this. All right. I think that's enough time. Do you guys have any one or two values that you have actions towards that feel good? What do you got,
Um,
Cass?
so what I've realized going down my list was that everything I'm relating to time, right? So does it take time away from things that I enjoy doing? Does that time help me with these values, like providing growth, providing wealth and health and creativity? So I think my biggest value right now is my time and what that means to me.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. And I think like going through, if that is a top value for you, going through, then always asking yourself is, you said time, but you said joy, growth. So I think take away the time and then you find your true values. So you said joy, like family, growth of your business. I think like those are some top values too. And so then I think when people ask you to do something like, can you work at this market? It's like, well, is that worth my time? Will it help me grow? Will it help me be with my family? Will it bring me joy? And if that's not answered, then the answer is no, I can't do this market.
Yeah.
So cool. Christy, I see you stepped out. I was going to do a quick bathroom break after this because I like to move my body. How are you feeling, Cass?
I'm feeling like a multitasker right now.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I know. I know. It's hard. It's hard to
Yeah,
find time for ourselves for sure, but it's
a
important.
bathroom break would be great stuff.
Okay. Christy, do you have anything you want to add for your values?
Yeah, sorry, I had to take a phone call. I didn't get a chance to hear what Cassie said, but I heard like the tail end of it. So I am not completely through with writing for each one, but what I'm finding is a lot of them have a similar theme of just continuing to create work-life balance so that I'm not feeling stressed or overwhelmed. And then I can enjoy my life and what I'm doing and outside of work. Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Okay. We'll take a bathroom break, hydration break. And then next we're going to get into like the goals, the meat of this whole thing. So that will take probably, 25 minutes. So let's just take a break and then we'll come back and start doing that. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good break.
Perfect. Okay.
Start recording this. Okay, Lori just hopped on. So Lori, Cassie, who's under the Sugar Cube, and Christy, both entrepreneurs. Cassie's in Colorado, Christy's in Iowa. Yeah, small women ran businesses. So same with myself. If you want, we can give more in-depth about us as well. But when you watch the recording, you'll see our intros. Can you give us a little background about you? Oh, you're on mute.
I am a naturopathic doc, acupuncturist, and I have switched my focus to integrative oncology recently. So I just went through Dr. Naish's course and I'm changing my whole practice. I mean, even physically moving things in my office and switching things around to start doing things a little bit differently. So all of this kind of landed on me really quickly, and so I haven't really had time to think things through. And so this is why I wanted to join you today, to get a little bit of focus.
Awesome. That's perfect. And I love Naisha's course and what she's doing. And
Awesome.
I currently am building, I'm a nurse practitioner, and I'm building out a 6,000 square foot space in
Wow.
our local community. Yeah, and so it's really about, you know, embracing like the whole person of coming into the space and being able to access a lot of different modalities that, you know, we don't get in the Midwest. So I get you. It's you know, we're incorporating a lot of new programs, protocols, and I love that you're switching things up and allowing yourself time to really like get organized.
Mhm.
Um, okay. Well, this second session, part 2, is all about goal setting. So we're gonna do just the dirty, we'll clean it up later, but I just want to go to with each aspect of our lives and just kind of put what goals we have with each of them, okay? So I'm going to put this in the comment box so that you have the sections to follow, but one will be career and professional development, setting goals related to advancing in your career, acquiring new skills, gaining additional qualifications, achieving milestones. What do you want to do in your career? Next one will be personal growth and self-improvement. So any new hobbies that you want to develop, it can include mental health and spirituality. I want to meditate every day, you know, something like that. Um, Relationships and social connections are the next one. So family and relationships. What goals do you have to enhance relationships with your family, friends, and loved ones? It can involve improving communication, deepening connections, dedicating more quality time to family. Next piece will be financial management. So establish goals related to financial stability, such as having a certain amount of money in a savings account, paying off debts, creating an emergency fund, investing in long-term financial goals. Doesn't have to be all these, just getting your juices flowing. Health and wellness, goals for physical fitness, nutrition, overall health and well-being. Personal organization, so establishing goals to enhance your productivity and organization skills, such as like effective routines, managing your time more efficiently. So, you know, one of mine was like decrease my social media to 30 minutes a day on average. Um, so things just like that that can help you prioritize time better. There's 2 more, education and lifelong learning. Do you have anything that and you don't have to have anything in all of these, but is there something that you want to do to continue your education or what you want to enroll in? And then contributing and giving back. Or is there anything that you're wanting to give back to society? So I'm going to put these over here in the chat box. So just take, again, this is going to be a big chunk. So 25 minutes, I would say, and I'll check in, but take that time and go and just start writing your goals down, what you're wanting to accomplish by the end of this year. If you have any questions, just shout them out, okay? And if any of you feel like you're done, just you can write down in the chat and we can stop early, but I want you to keep going, keep dreaming. Let's take another 3 minutes and I'll check in with you and see how you're doing. All right. Finishing up. Is everybody done?
I'd say I have a good start.
Okay.
Same.
Sort of an outline for me.
Yeah, well, let's go around and just in, in a couple of different areas, just say a few of the goals that you started to come up with.
I can start.
Okay, you start, Christy.
Hi, Cece. Okay, so these are more of a sketch. I would say I would like to reword them as SMART goals, but I didn't get that far because I wanted to get ideas down.
Yep.
But a few for career. Two that have been really pressing would be updating my packages and getting my website updated. And getting my website updated is contingent upon me getting my packages updated and clarifying those. So those are big, like next step things for work. And let's see. What else? Meeting for financial management, meeting with a financial advisor about a few things that we need to put into place in the next few years. That feels really important and will be coming soon. For organization and time management, I've been wanting to for a while put specific tasks on specific days. So I have that pretty streamlined with my massage practice, but actually going in and saying like what times of the day or what days am I doing like back end tasks for my business? What times of the day and days am I scheduling chunks of time to do work for clients? And then even going a little more micro than that and doing like creative tasks at a certain time of day because that's when my brain is more creative and works better, and just sketching out a schedule of what that looks like. And then stuff you had mentioned, less social media time, so I added that one to organization as well.
Perfect. Cassie, do you have a few that you want to share?
I do. For my growth, I want to work on getting into more daily events. The beginning of the year, I was working on getting into markets, and now I'm in a ton of markets. So now I want to do something, more daily.
Is that at the shop or is that event wise?
Event wise, to have another stream of income, right? Since I do have somebody that's managing the shop for me, I have the time to go find other opportunities that way. Getting my coffee beans into subscription boxes, selling online. Sorry, Cece's gonna help me tell the goals. Personal self-improvement. I want more time to read, travel. I live 20 minutes from the mountains. I would like to get to the mountains more often. Relationships. I want to build community relations to help grow the business. I met a new business owner that is going to be opening in the next month, and he asked if I would, be there for the grand opening. So I want to do more things like that, especially in my community. Financially, I need to talk to my accountant about, where ways I can cut costs. I've been pretty good at running my business debt-free. I have a little bit of debt, so I'd like that to be gone by the end of the year. So that's one of my financial goals. Health and wellness, working out 2 to 3 times a week, eating healthy, have healthier options available for the family. Education, learning. I am looking into getting into an Excel class. Sorry. At the community college, just so I can update my skills in Excel, because there's so much you can do with it, which I'm sure you all know, that I just would love to help with the business, to organize the business side of it. And that's one of the things I struggle with is my organization, especially with running different, the shop and the markets and all that stuff. Yeah, so those are my main goals that I've put down.
Okay, sounds good. We'll go into these further, but that sounds great. And Lori, did you have a few to share too?
Well, a lot of them are falling in place now since I started NACE's program.
Okay.
The career part obviously has changed focus, but what I really, really need to do is just really focus on one area, because in the past I do this and I do that and I do this kind of acupuncture and I do this kind of naturopathic, and I'm all over the place. And so I feel like a jack of all trades, master of none.
Mm.
And that's really what I need to do this year, is really hone in on what I need to do, that because that will go into personal growth, where I feel like when I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, I don't deserve to get paid like a master. So that will flow into there. I'm doing a program called Primal Trust, which is really neat. Trying to get down to those early traumas that might be adding into the self-esteem and fear of failure picture. And then financially, I'm getting that under control. Health and wellness, I do need to find some kind of exercise routine, but I'm also thinking of where I really want to live. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and it's gorgeous right now for 3 or 4 months of the year, and then it's just like, stop raining. I can't
Yeah.
take it anymore. 3 layers of clouds. So I
You
need
need to come to Colorado. It's sunny all
oh,
the time.
it's gorgeous there, isn't it?
It is.
Anyway, so that all of these areas are just absolutely perfect pinpoint what I need to work on. But I am getting, mostly it's the organization that I need to get some clarity on, and it's happening finally. This is great.
So with the Primal Trust, is that something you're putting on or you're taking that
Oh, I'm
course?
taking the course.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I just started it. Yeah, it's very interesting. You should Google it and see what she's up to.
Yeah, that's interesting. And um, you know, I think one of your biggest goals from hearing you is like trying to hone in on what you specifically want. And I'm sure with Naisha's course that's probably oncology.
Yes,
And then what's the umbrella underneath that? What are you going to offer? I'm sure that's what you're trying to figure out right now. Like what are you going to offer to complement that training?
right. Well, part of her whole premise is you test, assess, address, don't guess, right? So you don't want to just jump into treatments, but I also am going back and reviewing IVs, because I want to do, IV mistletoe and all of that stuff, and ozone. So I am studying that right now. I did my first ozone treatment yesterday on somebody, ozone UBI. That was really fun. I'd
Awesome.
love to get an EBU someday too.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of thing I'm doing right now, is putting those pieces in place.
Okay.
But it all
Yeah.
ties into the personal growth and the health and wellness. It all ties in. This is really a nice outline you have here.
Great. Good. I'm glad that it's connecting.
And there's no way you can't have education and lifelong learning under Dr. Naisha Winters.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And in oncology in general, you'll never stop learning, right?
And it also, everything I'm learning is actually bringing everything I know in naturopathic medicine into a fine, a focus. So it's not like I'm giving up this to do oncology. It's everything I know is going into the oncology part of it.
That feels beautiful. It feels very aligned and beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. I'm glad that you're getting clarity on that.
Yeah.
In my, I'll just kind of go over some of mine. My goal for my career, one of them was to restart my mastermind. I train other practitioners how to open or expand on their clinic to do IV therapies. I love doing ozone. But that was one of the things that I did for a couple of years. I really loved it. It was really well attended. And then I got pregnant, had a baby, and life happened last year. So that big goal was to restart the mastermind. So I'm working on that. And then I'm working on, since I own a supplement line, I'm working on setting a deal with people to partner and private label some of our supplements. And lastly, for my career goals, in our new space, we're going to do like organic hair and organic health aesthetics, because one, it's a big thing that like everybody wants to feel beautiful no matter what they went through. And this is a way that we can hone in on helping our patients from literally from treating their body to like treating their beauty and helping them feel good in their skin and body. So I'm working on a launch of that. My mental health was like meditating daily, finding someone. I just worked with someone actually yesterday to develop a sadhana, a practice. Relationships, reevaluating expectations of my family, how they need to show up for me, and my 1-year-old, and scheduling a date night with my partner Alex seemed really important. Contribution, I want to continue to donate to causes. I really enjoy the giving aspect of life, and knowing that I'm welcome to receive money, and I can easily give that back, and that feels really good to be able to do that. So I want to continue honing in on that. And then with my health, I've had a lot of health stuff. So supporting my health, increasing my muscle mass is a big deal that I want to envision by the end of this year. And just having different attitudes around health. So that's mine. Thank you guys for sharing. What's interesting when we write these things, and I didn't think about it at first when I was initially writing them, but everything that we wrote is either result oriented, it's either that or a to-do or a habit. So that's why I said if you have any highlighters, I love highlighters. This is what my page looks like. I took all the goals that I wrote and then I highlighted them. So when you're going through, what is actually a result? What has an end tangible result? What is a to-do that just needs to get done? And then what is a habit? So for an example, for me, decreasing social media, that's a habit. A to-do would be creating events for our loft space we'll have. A result is restarting the mastermind, where I need specific end results. So sorry, I don't want to confuse you, but for like the result, restarting a mastermind, I'm going into details of, I want 8 to 10 practitioners. So it's going to be very specific. So something you can get a result oriented action from. So if you have, we could take 5 minutes, color it or circle, whatever you want to do the differences, but what is a result? What is your to do? What is a habit?
Steph,
Yep.
what was your to-do example? I'm just trying to understand the difference between result and to-do.
So to do would be like schedule a date night with Alex,
Okay.
take my family camping,
Okay.
those type of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks.
Yep. All right, I'll give you just one more minute. Okay, hopefully you found that exercise interesting because, when I did it and I really looked at, oh, what is actually a result? Are my goals focused or are they just more to-dos or habits? Because with that, it's harder. You can't find a strategic plan to complete a habit, right? So I just thought it was really interesting to separate them. Is there anything that you guys chose that was like your start of on a result goal oriented goal? Is there any top, because that's what you're going to take and develop like plans for the end of the year. So are there any that are sticking out in your mind?
I have a few that I highlighted. I highlighted the build community relations. So I want to go around to areas around my business and reach out to them and see how, I can either throw up a pop-up event or get into their newsletters, or I have a few apartment buildings by me. See if we can put something in their new tenant handbook, I would guess it would be called. That's something I need to work on, how I'm going to do that. The other one was the selling online, the steps that I need, how to update my website in order to do that, to make it more convenient for people, putting it out there. There's a few steps that will go into doing that. And then also I didn't say it with my last one, but clean house, getting rid of things I haven't been using in the year. I want to live in a tidy environment. So room by room, that's my plan. So those are things I want to work on.
Cool. I like the clean house one. I feel that the feng shui is needed. Christy, do you have any?
Yeah, well, I'll just piggyback off of that one because that was on my list as well. I've done a ton of decluttering over the past year and a half. But my home office space is not as ideal as I would like it to be. So that's been a focus in terms of getting what I need to comfortably work at home and minimize distractions. And part of that is a little more decluttering as well, keeping my house clean. The things that definitely pop for work are, like I mentioned before, getting my packages updated and getting my website updated. Like that's been a huge, I just don't have it right now. I don't have anywhere to point potential clients to like read more about what I do. And so it's taking time, which I don't mind doing, but it's taking time for me to message them back with the information when I could just be streamlining that and sending them to my website. I do have a form that they can fill out, but there's no information for them to read yet. So getting those done, those are very result oriented.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel I feel like you're updating packages, like just knowing, like here are the 3 tiers that you can choose from. I think that would be really helpful. I
Yeah.
know you mentioned before you wanted to meet with the financial advisor. Did you
Mhm.
tease that apart to find a result in that, or is that a to-do?
Um, what did I highlight that? Oh, I actually highlighted that as, well, yeah, a result. Um, but the other things around financial management were habits. So that I feel like meeting with financial advisors just actually like making it happen.
Yeah, so that might be the to-do, and what really seems like the result is like once you meet with them, it's like, okay, the result is I want to lower my credit card debt to $1,000 by the end of the year or whatever, and then working backwards and creating that as a result.
Okay, I see what you mean. I didn't do that, but I will.
Okay. And Lori,
Ditto on everything everybody said, especially for me, it's the clean office and getting rid of the old notebooks I haven't looked at in years and why I think I need them for security. And then educating my patients on what I'm doing so that the to-do would be that clean up, getting the marketing going, let people know what I'm doing now. So the result might be something like 5 ozone UBIs per week, just get something going. So I can get really comfortable on that, because that's only one of many things that I need to be doing and updating. But I need to do one thing at a time, because otherwise I end up scattered like I was before, a chipmunk, squirrel, that's
yeah.
what it laughs about. Oh, squirrel, 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 what's she doing now,
Hmm.
And then so with the CPA, I just talked to a CPA, and I'm going to have him really help me get prices in QuickBooks. So I'm not the one going, well, it's this amount of money, but yeah, I guess we could give it to you for that. It's like, no, this is the cost of it. You don't go to the grocery store and quabble about, the cost of a gallon of milk.
Right. What type of support staff do you have?
I don't have any, I'm just myself.
Okay.
And I shouldn't be wearing all those hats.
No. Okay, that's good. It's hard to create. I found when I started my practice that was the money thing for healers and people that want to help. It's really hard because we want to give everything away for free. And the best thing that I ever did was have a receptionist. They take the money. There's zero emotional impact from me because I would give every single person that came in my door free services. So there's nothing there. It's just an exchange. I'm giving them a service that costs me money, and you have to keep your energy on. You have to keep your license. You have to keep, there's a lot of things that go into owning a business, and we don't value that enough. And so, anyways, and then our time. I mean, I know you at least spent 16 grand on going to Naisha's course. So there's all of this education and time that you're spending, you're worth it. And yeah, it's sometimes it might be finding a way to have that support staff that assist you with that so that you don't ever have to feel that emotional tug when you are receiving what you deserve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also just want to point out with that, you mentioned um, the patient education and marketing, and then maybe doing like ozone packages. Are those ozone packages specific for your oncology? Like, are you?
They wouldn't necessarily be, because my patient load the patients I have right now aren't all oncology patients, but I
Okay.
still need to get people doing this, not only so that I can get my skills up in it, and but I think everybody would love to have ozone and would benefit from it, and a UBI.
I
So
agree. And I'm also just wanting to, you were mentioning at the beginning that you're trying to like hone in more specific so that it's not just like here's something and here. So that's my question to you is everybody does need ozone for sure. But like what is just being more specific about not just doing ozone for ozone, but like you're creating maybe you do see healthy people or people that want to stay healthy. Like what's your, health package? And that could include, a series of 5 ozones or something like that. Just being more specific to, okay, am I going to just do oncology? Because if I am, then, then I'm going to limit myself and I can't just randomly do ozones for people. But if I'm doing, if I have 3 different patient prototypes or, you know, avatars that I'm looking at, like people that have cancer, the people that are concerned about their health, and the people that are healthy and never want to have cancer. And how can I, feed into those tiers with specific packages?
That's great. I did an avatar exercise one time. And it's like, okay, I think I want to work with like 40 to 60-year-old women with hormonal stuff, blah, blah, blah. I had this all figured out. So the next 2 people who called to come into my office were both men with Bell's palsy. I'm going, okay, that didn't work. I wonder what I did wrong.
Oh my gosh. The universal jokes, right? The cosmic jokes.
That's what it was. Yeah.
It happens all the time. But honestly, with our business, that's kind of I don't want to limit people from coming to us because everybody deserves to detox and be healthy. They don't have to have cancer. But how does it look? It looks very different, right? The lab set that we get on oncology patients is very different than what we get on a normal healthy patient. So, but just knowing that there's like, okay, a couple different blocks, it helps kind of get you organized. Um, and then you don't have to really turn people away. And as you grow, or as if you want to grow, if you want to have a staff and have someone assisting you, because at some point you will. If you're doing IV therapy, at some point you're just going to maybe hire someone part-time and it's going to be really scary. And you're going to be like, how am I going to pay them? But if you're at that point of where you need that assistance, if you're doing one ozone a day, you're going to be paying their wage, right? So just kind of playing with that and trusting in the next steps. But don't want to be overwhelming, just one thing at a time. What's the next best step? So, okay. Any other questions on or any clarity that needs on any of those goals? I think you guys have really great result-oriented goals on hand. The next thing I would like you just to take 5 minutes and write a letter to yourself, starting it off with, hey, it's December 31st. Maybe you're in mittens with your favorite hot beverage from the Sugar Cube, sitting by a fire, and you're writing a note about what the past 6 months look like. How do you feel? What did you accomplish? We want to share these, but I think it's really important to just write to ourselves and visualize what we can truly see happening in our lives. So let's take 5 minutes and just do that. paycheck. All right, you can wrap up section. Maybe keep that tucked away, and then at the end of the year, review it and see. So the next thing that I'd like to do is, we know where we want to be at the end of the year. We know what our result-oriented goals are. So the next thing is like, how do we reverse engineer it to make that a reality? I'm going to go through one of mine just to give you an idea of where my brain took me throughout one to maybe help you get started. But I mean, you want to take maybe, I'd say 2 to 4 goals and do this with them. You don't want to go over that because it could be overwhelming, but I think that, finding 2 to 4 is a good way to start. So restarting my mastermind. I know this is something I want to do. I want to get 8 to 10 practitioners in my group consulting at $5,000 a person. So that would mean $40,000 to $50,000 by December. So I have the amount of people, the amount of income I'd like to generate. How am I going to do this to get them there? I want to offer every other week coaching. Well, what I want to do with these people is I want to offer every other week coaching calls for 3 months, with content released the opposite week. So this is a 3-month program that I'm selling. I'm basically relaunching a mastermind I did in 2021. So I don't have to reinvent the whole wheel, which is really nice. I already have it set up. I just need to put it in action and get the people interested into it. How I have to go about doing that is, well, I have to give free content to them. So this month I decided that I have an online IV practitioner business page. I haven't been active in it. I have 230 people that just sit there and don't receive content. So about 2 weeks ago, I started uploading content and getting more interaction in that space. I'm actually meeting with someone today that does very targeted marketing in like Facebook ads. So I want her to find the top 3 the IV sites that are on Facebook that have a lot of practitioners in them. I want those people to see my free offering. I'm offering a 10 steps to open your clinic in 90 days. That's like my 1-hour feeder program that, hey, if you think that this stuff is valuable and you want to work with me, here's my group coaching. So I'm going to work with her to see if she can help me kind of target the specific audience that I want with my advertising so I can get the right people to see me when I'm doing my free trainings. I want this mastermind to restart in August, so I have a specific date, start and end, because it's a 3-month program. And I'm working backwards. So right now I'm revamping my Facebook page. In August, I'm going to run 2 free calls. So the 1-hour 10 steps course, I'm going to do that on my Facebook to try to get people into the program. And then, I will be launching from there. So again, this was something that I did a couple weeks ago. I put it in place. I have everything in line now. And so it's just like a machine. So that's what I'm wanting you guys to do, is kind of reverse engineer. Okay, if this wants to be done, I have to allot myself this amount of time, and these are the steps that I need to take. Let me know if you have any questions about that, or if you want to just kind of get started with one and see how you feel.
Stephanie,
Yep.
this just seems a little bit overwhelming to me,
Okay.
like I've got Facebook ads and I just
Yeah. Well,
that
that's
marketing.
for me.
Oh, okay.
That's just for me. That's not for you. So that's like, in order for me to restart my mastermind, where I get my clients from is Facebook.
Mm,
So I have to market on Facebook to get my clients. So that's not the route for you. This is just an example of what I'm doing to get to where I need to be for this goal. So, do you have a tangible goal that you want to work on?
Well, I have many steps that I want to eventually end up doing, but I'm just focusing just on getting some IVs going in the office, getting the practice that I need so that I can do these IVs before I get to the point where I can actually hire a nurse to do them. I just have to learn this. So I'm starting with one thing, which is the ozone UBI. So
Perfect.
I need to get patients in. So I just need to let my patients know. And everybody that I've mentioned to it so far, they're like, oh, I want to do it. I want to do it. So I have to.
So maybe your goal, how many you can even, you don't have to do by the end of the year. Like is it a month goal, a 2-month goal? How many people do you want to get in to do, like, your physical capacity at how many you could do a day? So what does that look like? If this is what you're going to focus on, how many people can you see?
Well, I thought realistically I'd start with 5 a week because that's, I think that's a good goal. And then I'd rather have more than that, but I don't want to get, oh, I'll do 30 a week and then I get 2 in and then I feel shitty about myself and then,
Yeah,
or whatever.
I mean, I think that that's a perfect goal for you. And then if you see that the need is there where more people are wanting it, then that's where maybe you think about, like, okay, this could be the time. And again, it can be months down the road, but this could be the time where you start seeking a part-time nurse that wants to come in and help do infusions. Like, they already have a full-time job at the hospital. They know how to stick someone really well, and they're just wanting to make a little extra income on the side. So 5 use ozones a week. Perfect.
Yeah,
That's
because
a good
those
goal.
5 people can repeat the next week too.
And
Or, do
and the
other.
and the goal, your ultimate goal of this, is it to make money? Is the UV 5 ozones and UBIs? Is this to make financial gains?
Well, eventually, absolutely, yes. But initially it's just to learn how to do it, learn to know how to handle situations that come up. I mean, it's just getting the experience in it right now is my goal, but there has to be a financial gain in it.
Yeah. So what are you charging?
Well, I'd be starting at right now. I'm just charging half price just because I am learning on a few friends. I haven't set it out there with my patients yet.
What
So
is your full
250
pricing?
would be, yeah, for this,
250 is a full price
yeah,
for one session.
right.
Okay. For one pass. And that cost you how much?
That only cost me, I don't know, like $50 at the most for everything.
I would
But
put this
that's,
as I put this as your homework to know exactly what does your tubing cost,
yeah,
depreciation of your machine. Do you have a longevity or hormone or simply 3?
Champion, yeah.
Okay,
It's
so I mean, that cost can be in there, and it can be, you can just put $5 or $2. Obviously, it will get less over time, but that needs to be in there. The cost of the needle, stick,
okay.
IV tubing. I don't like, so I mean, this is my bread and butter is IV therapy. And when I teach my clients, I go through suppliers because supplying is very important of every item. But also creating like I have an Excel sheet created that has every single one of my costs. So I know exactly what a cotton ball costs and all of that. And then I've created an easy template where I can just throw that in if I want to create a new IV, and I'll know exactly how much I need to charge. So I put in, you have to put in for your time too, your nurse's time, um, just so
Waste.
that you know.
Sorry, we use the Excel for the coffee shop too for recipes. So you know exactly what 1 pump of sugar cost in with the coffee beans and all that. You do need to factor in waste too, because there is waste in everything you do. But time is a big thing. I heard you say stuff. Your time.
Yeah, I always, I pay my nurse $30 an hour. I put down the nurse time as $50 an hour because of we pay taxes and all of that with them. It's usually double what you're paying your nurse. But then the good part of that is that we're doing this per IV. Well, if she has 2 IVs running at a time, then her cost significantly goes down, right? But it's already buffered into that price. Um, does that make sense, Lori? Is that overwhelming? Okay. And I think that it's important when you're starting out, your goal is 5 people. You don't want to discount a product so much that it loses its value up front, like where people don't want to pay the full price again. I think doing like an introductory offer, making it a big deal for like this limited time only. The normal, I would sell it in a package. I don't know what your plans are, if you're going to just do singles or if you want to do a package. Do what you feel is comfortable. But you could do, I like 4 packs because then they can come once a week for a month, and that's usually maintainable for people. But let's say a 4 pack, it's usually $1,000, and you're going to discount it to 750. I don't think you have to half your price. I think that you need to make some money there. And again, this is just me. You get to do whatever you want to do. Cassie or Christy, if you guys have anything that's coming up that you need help walking through, let me know.
Yeah, thank you. This is all part of my organization. It's getting things written down on paper and then sticking with it. Yeah. Is there such a thing as a virtual receptionist, or is it better to have somebody there in person? Obviously, it's probably better to have somebody in person. I mean, how would you have somebody collecting money virtually on that day? I mean,
Christy, do you have any ideas about that?
Um, I being in that spot of having to collect money, for my massage clients, I can understand. I can understand the discomfort in that, and I think the best buffer would be an in-person receptionist, especially if it's the like money collection, that sort of immediate. Your patient is already there. I think an in-person receptionist would be best for that kind of thing. Where like a virtual assistant could shine would be like scheduling, because you don't necessarily need somebody in-house to do your scheduling of appointments, and then other like back-end tasks for your business. But if it's money collection that you're needing most like upfront and help with, I would say an in-person receptionist would be best for that. And then she can do other things for you while she's there in-house as well, of course. But yeah, I'm curious your thoughts, Steph.
I agree. It's because it's like that boundary, because after you complete your task, whether it be massage therapy or an IV, then when they're leaving, that's when usually the monetary exchange happens. So in order to take you out of it, someone has to be there physically. Unless when you're doing this and you're doing these special limited offers and they're pre-buying the package, that they're able to purchase them online, so that the transaction's already completed, they paid for it, and now you're just providing the service. And I'm also thinking like these 5 ozones, are you going to stick with 1 day a week to provide the ozones and just have 1 day to the ozones? Because if you are, then that might be a day where you just there's always a mom or someone I feel like that wants to do 1 to 2 days just to get out of their house, and that could be a day that you just have them do housekeeping tasks for 4 hours and pay them. Christy, I'm keeping track for you. Do you have to go?
I rescheduled.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Sugar Cube, what's your name? Oh, wait, I'm muted.
Sorry, Cassie is my name.
Patsy, what is the Excel training you're gonna get?
So I took an Excel course back in college and I know a little bit about it, but I know that the local community college offers the Excel course and also YouTube. I was gonna try to look up on YouTube. But I luckily have my partner is very proficient in Excel. So he's the one that set up the recipes. I call them recipes, but I can change the smallest thing and it will change the price of everything. We have what items I lose money on, what items I make money on. If I were to sell 10 items less a day, if that affects, the price of everything. Excel is a very powerful tool if you know how to use it. And that's why I want to become more proficient in it because I can't always rely on him for it because he's busy, right? So if you know anything about it, or if you don't, I would definitely look into it because like Stephanie, I'm sure can tell you, it's an amazing source to have when you understand what it can do for you.
Do you have any background in Excel, Lori?
No, not really. Just
Do you
very
know,
rudimentary,
as I say, you know how to navigate it?
a little bit, yeah.
Well, at some point, if it is something that is interesting to you to look at, I can show you. We could do a like an hour call or something, and I could show you and give you my like main template that you
Okay.
can look at that already has formulations in place so that you wouldn't have to recreate the wheel. And I could show you
Awesome.
how to use that, and that might help you as you go forward.
That'd be great. Wonderful. Wonderful.
If I mean, I would say that would be perfect if you're having issues pricing things out.
Yeah, that just all of a sudden I just thought, wow, that's exactly what I need to get this organization in my mind.
I
Get some,
think, pricing is really challenging too. Just in general, like what are you going to charge for one oncology visit, or how does that look? Do you have a package for it? Do you charge a la carte? Just knowing those prices. And I think Christy, you have the same thing with your VA work, like how to narrow that down. Do you have a la carte prices for people that want specific things? and then have like your main 3 packages for clients. Um, yeah, it's always tricky.
Yeah, I will just chime in. It's tricky, and it's one of those stopping places that can keep us from moving forward. Like, we don't want to make a mistake and charge the wrong prices out of the gate. But at the same time, it's like that's the perfect stumbling block for self-sabotage and not moving forward. It's kind of like the same as like so many people through the years, myself included, we stumble on like a business name, and we have to have our business name in order to make our business card, and then we can't do anything else until we have those things in place, right? And so it's like one of those questions of, okay, do you have all of the information you need, and you're just not committing to something, which is kind of where I'm at with some of my packages right now. So I'm saying this as much to myself as
Yeah,
to
yeah,
everyone else. But yeah.
for real. You know, with the health aesthetics and organic hair, I had no idea. I mean, I know I've taken some classes and people have told me what they've charged, and it's pretty easy to look at that. But again, it's like I don't just base my services on what everybody else does. I look at how much does my room cost to rent each month. What is the product cost that I'm doing? I always do the higher end things for people, so I need to know that part. And I'm and that's I think that's the most important thing is just knowing what it costs me and the time that it costs that it will take to complete the task, and then developing something that feels comfortable. Like I think that even when we're learning something new, we don't want to devalue ourselves so much because we're doing something new for people. Like I think that Lori, even though it's new for you, them getting the ozone and UBI, just like they could come get it from me, which I've done 5,000 of them, they're still getting the same results. They're still getting really good ozone and UBI. So you could charge the same amount. So just know that too.
Beth, I have a question
Yeah.
kind of along those lines. Do you have a personal formula for when you are looking at pricing something? I know you mentioned like your expenses, your room cost, your really specific costs of like the tools you're going to be using, like syringes and all of those kinds of things. But do you have a formula for like your personal time and energy? And like maybe it would look like how much you want to receive an hour for something, or you know what I mean? Like, because what I find is that yes, I do have expenses that are calculable, to like, this is how much I would use of this for this particular task. But most of my offerings, like a lot of them don't have that. So then I get a little stuck on pricing, right?
So my question to you is, how many people, how many clients, and I know that this is a tricky question for you, but how many clients feels good to hang on to a
Mhm.
month?
Yeah,
And then how much money do you want to make an hour?
right.
And then how much are those 5 clients that you want to have a month or whatever? How much are they producing to get you to how many? And again, that's how many hours are you wanting to work a week too?
Mhm. Yeah, and it gets a little bit tricky there too, because like social media packages aren't charged hourly. So what I have been doing though is tracking like the time that it takes me to get certain tasks done, and then
That's good.
what I make for that hour, like how does that feel, you know? But it
Yeah.
fluctuates a lot, especially if I'm learning something new, it's going to take me longer to do that task. Yeah, so I'm just finding myself wishing that it was a little more cut and dried, like you were talking about, like the cost of a stick, like you can calculate that, you know.
And what I can't calculate is how many, I can calculate this is what the nurse gets paid an hour and all of that, but I can't calculate how many people we're going to see. Maybe we have 2 infusions that day and I'm paying the nurse every hour. So that is some of the unknown variable that there's always unknown variables, right?
Yeah.
But I think in general,
Hmm.
I'm just thinking like while you're newer, you might have to put in a little more time, but in general, what is, you again, they're paying for a package. How long is that package? Is it a month? Is it 3 months?
A month.
Okay, so then you know exactly what you're going to make in that month
Yeah.
and what hours you have a feeling of how many hours that's going to approximately, because you're
Hmm.
you're selling it to them as a package, like this is going to cost you $500 and it's going to be a 20-hour package, right? Is that
Yeah, for retainer packages, yes, but for social media, not quite. But I can look over my time tracker and kind of gauge what the social media package is now that I've been doing it for enough months.
yeah,
So yes, I could do that.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Be right back.
Are we supposed to be doing something right now? I kind of stepped away. Wait, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. They're just still doing the goal working. You know, Lori, for you, again, if the goal is, if your goal is clear about the 5 ozones per week, how are you going to market that? So we're reverse engineering to get to that X amount of, I mean, you can just say your goal would be by the second week of August to have 20 ozones in place, right? So are you creating your own marketing? Does someone else help you with that? Do you have you're on mute.
I do. I have somebody helping me with that.
Okay, so they send out emails for you?
But we're just gonna get started. We're just gonna get together this weekend and talk about it.
Perfect timing. Okay, and then is there an option for you to collect payment online?
I don't have one yet. What do you use?
Um, I mean, we use Square for our processing. So what do you use to collect money at the office?
I just have a point credit card thing that
Okay.
I have to have them give me their card or their card number if the card isn't present.
Is there a way to have, can you send invoices with that?
I have QuickBooks that I could send invoices with. Yes.
You could
I
do
would,
that.
yeah.
I mean, I would, if you're,
Scratch.
what were you going to say?
That I'm starting from scratch, really.
Well, then it might be good to look into doing something like Square or a different, something that has more, I don't
Venmo
know.
or
No, Venmo really isn't good for business. Like, does the point sale that you're using, it takes up certain percentage, I'm assuming? Have you ever looked into something like Square?
well, I did actually have Square and then they were charging more than point. So I switched over, but I think maybe I'll go back to Square.
I mean, it just seems like the point is very limited in what they can
Yeah.
accept.
Okay.
I'm just thinking if you know you're wanting to sell supplements and product and stuff, Square just seems like an easier all in one. And then you can send invoices from it as well. And so if you if you have a marketing campaign like for emails and you're sending out an email with this current special and someone wants to purchase it, then you can, you know, if you're going to make it urgent, like limiting it to the first 5 people or something, then, you know, then you can send them an invoice right away and you can have their payment already completed.
Okay.
Otherwise, the thing I like about Square too is that even if they have to pay in the clinic, there's a terminal and you can just whip it around. You don't have to, they can touch it. You don't have to, you know, it's a little barrier for you. You're not entering their card number or anything like that.
So you do that on off of an iPad in the office?
Yep. And you know, we've been using, we got Square in 2016 and we've been using an iPad, a cheap iPad I got off eBay, you know, that it doesn't have to be anything expensive. We did, you know, purchase the Square, the stand that it's with and the card reader, but
Because when I do supplements, I have them go to full script because those are usually everything I need is on there. So then
okay.
they online. I try not to keep much of an inventory at my office because it's like I never know. I think, oh, I got to buy all these supplements, but then nobody needs those particular ones, and then eventually they expire, and really they needed something else, and I just decided to quit doing the inventory thing.
Sure. And full script seems like a decent way. I know that Nasha and those guys signed a partnership with something that's similar to that. So I think that eventually they'll release that to their practitioners that will have a portal as well, where you can do the affiliate links and make money off that as well. So if that's what works for your business at this point, then that's perfect. So we're going to get done early today. I didn't know this is the first time doing this, so I didn't know how long it would take, or if more people were on, then it would obviously take up more time just with chatting. But I think one of the things to think about, like, is what is one thing that you can outsource right now? And Christy, being a VA, I was like, can VAs outsource, work? And it's like, of course they can, because everybody has their own specific wheelhouse and what they're good at, and other people need help. So my one thing that I wanted to outsource was VA help for specific tasks that I need done in my business. And it sounds like Lori, right now, you're meeting with your marketer, website to get that email launched. I think this is a really good thing to have going into it, like being very clear on what your next couple months are going to look like. If that's your top goal, then that's what I would have your helper focus on. Christy, do you have one thing that you think you need to outsource?
Not yet for my business. At least not that I'm seeing right now. But one thing I do have on my list just for personal outsourcing is someone to a house cleaner.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
What does that look like?
I don't know yet. Josh and I are trying to get clear on that actually, because we almost signed up for an offer, but it was very like surface cleaning, and we actually feel like we want to hire somebody to come in maybe like once a month and do like a deeper sort of cleaning.
Yeah.
And that might even be like, it might not even be like a house cleaner. Like we might hire, like 1 month, we might hire a window cleaner to do the windows. And then
Sure.
like the next month it's somebody else, but
Cool.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, I always had a really hard time. I still have a hard time with, like, it sounds magical. And then I'm like, oh, I'm cleaning before the cleaner comes. And it created a lot of stress for me. So I still have that. So
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's where I feel like the window cleaner is something that we have had come before, and it's just like, I don't have the tools to do that, and that's their wheelhouse, so I'm just gonna let them.
heck yeah. And you don't have to pre-clean your windows. Like, it's
Right.
just do this task. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Great idea. And even though you're not paying, I think, like, the financial advisor, like, doing that, that's an outsourcing. You're outsourcing someone to help with getting clear on
Yeah,
that.
that's
So
true. Totally. Good point.
cool. I know Cassie messaged me. She was putting the baby to sleep, so she might not be here to outsource something. Lori, do you have any comments, questions?
Can you talk a little bit about this thing I emailed you about helping people set up an IV office or room or whatever it is you do?
Yeah, well, do you have any, I didn't get your email. Do you have any specific questions right now that I can answer?
No, I just want to know what it is you do
What I
in,
do.
or
Um,
practitioners too.
yeah, so basically I've helped the realm of people, whether they're just new and they're starting out and they want to open a clinic, or the people that have a practice and they want to add IV therapy to their business, or the people that have a successfully running IV clinic but want it to be more, they want their supply chain to be knocked out, like they want the best supplies with the lowest cost, just to help them kind of get their way. So I've helped all of those people, and really it's like for the beginners. I have all the recipes that I've created and the templates for them. So you can go and the like Cassie was talking about with the Excel, it has all the millosmolality calculated in. So if you ever wanted to change the ingredient, change it from sterile water to normal saline, it automatically calculates the osmolality. So you don't ever have to think about that. Um, and then it also has nutrients. I give my whole supplier list of where I go for each supply. I also have an Excel that has the nutrients listed, the cost of the nutrients, broken down per milliliter, added on with waste. So what it costs for each milliliter of each vitamin I'm using. And then in the template form, it's all the recipes. So let's say we're going to be doing an immune boost infusion. So you click on that and all of the nutrients came over from that main page. I wish I had it with me. I'd show you an example, but then it shows the exact cost.
Are you doing like artemisinin and mistletoe and curcumin and things like that, or is this mostly nutritional?
I do mistletoe. I do art and curcumin when it's available. Stuff that's available right now isn't the highest of quality unless you can get it from Canada, which I've had someone sneak some in last year, but I just don't do that with people right now because of that issue. But yes, I do ketamine, ozone, mistletoe, procaine infusions. I probably have maybe 30 infusions that we do. And we do pregnancy, allergy, migraines.
Where are you located?
Iowa, Dubuque, Iowa. Yeah. Yeah, I opened up in 2016 and I didn't plan on doing infusions. I have Crohn's, and so I did infusions for myself. And I was like, well, I'll just add on this little IV room to my clinic and see if other people like me need help. And then all of a sudden it snowballed and people wanted oncology treatments. And I was like, I am not doing cancer. Well, here I am, NATIA's program later. And I mean, and Paul Anderson is a good friend and mentor. And, that, so oncology is really about 70% of our infusion clients as well.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't get my email, then I'd like to talk to you more about that later. So.
Yeah, I'll read through it if that's okay, and then we can definitely chat.
Okay.
Do you feel like you have a good base with, I know I do want you to go over the recording and just listen to the beginning. It all kind of goes in with each other, but it'll just be good just to kind of get a review of your first half too and see how you feel about the intake of the first half of 2023 and taking those tools into the second half too. Are there any other questions I can help you with? Christy? I know Cassie's feeding the human.
Yeah, I think I'm good right now. I have quite a list of actionable steps to work on out of
Awesome.
today. So yeah,
Well, I
thank
hope
you.
it was good and it helped your mind get flowing. I just don't feel like we offer ourselves this time and space just to create and
Yeah.
sit. So please, like if things come up after this and you want clarity around, or you're like, this is my goal and I can't figure out the end point, just send me an email. This I I didn't do today to become a millionaire. I did it because this is a passion of mine to help other people see their potential and help them kind of get organized, because I know that that's something that, in order for us to succeed as women bosses and just in general, we just need to be more organized and clear in our mind of what to offer. So,
Mhm.
anyways,
Yeah. Thank you so
appreciate
much.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Again, I'll send you the recording right when it gets uploaded. I'm going to stop it